Hello and welcome everyone. Thank y'all for joining me for this meeting. I promise it's not going to be long, okay? I just have 3 cases that I'm going to give you a brief overview on. If you have any questions, please ask them at the end, okay? The first case we're going to talk about is Neves versus Bartlett. In 2015, Officer Neves and Bryce Waite were dispatched to a winter sporting event in Alaska. And during the call, Officer Neves came into contact with a man named Russell Bartlett. Bartlett became belligerent and he began yelling at Officer Neves to leave the area. And instead of arguing or fighting Bartlett, Officer Neves left him alone. The call did require Officer Waite to speak with a minor, and while speaking with the minor, Officer Waite claimed that Bartlett came up to him and yelled at him in a very slurred speech to leave the minor alone. Just letting y'all know that at no point during my research did I find any relation between Bartlett and this minor. Officer Waite claimed Bartlett took an aggressive step towards him, causing Officer Waite to push Bartlett backwards. Officer Neves did witness that occur, and he arrested Bartlett. However, Bartlett was very uncooperative and slow to comply while he was being under arrest. This caused officers to force Bartlett to the ground. Bartlett claimed that his First Amendment rights were violated during this incident. He believes his arrest was due to his refusal to speak to Officer Neves at the beginning of the call. However, we know that Bartlett was arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The case went to the district court where they found that there was enough probable cause to arrest Bartlett. Then the case went to the Ninth Circuit Court where they reversed the district court's findings, and later the United States Supreme Court held that there was enough probable cause to arrest Bartlett and that his original claims were insufficient. So that wraps up the first case I'm going to tell y'all about. The second one we're going to discuss is Mitchell versus Wisconsin. This case involved police receiving a call stating that Gerald Mitchell appeared to be very drunk and had driven off in his van. Later, 2 officers found Mitchell near a lake, stumbling and slurring his words. Officer Yeager deemed it too dangerous to conduct an SFST test on Mitchell on the scene, so he opted to give Mitchell a preliminary breath test. This test showed the result of 0.24% blood alcohol content, which is 3 times over the legal limit in Wisconsin. So Mitchell was arrested for operating a vehicle while intoxicated, and he was then transported to the police station for further testing. However, before he could get to the police station, Mitchell's condition worsened. He became very lethargic, so officers took him to a hospital. While Mitchell was unconscious, Officer Yeager read aloud a standard statement that they give drivers as a chance to refuse the blood alcohol content test. Mitchell was unable to give a response as a result of being unconscious. However, Officer Yeager had the hospital staff draw the blood for the blood alcohol content test anyways. Mitchell believed his Fourth Amendment rights were violated, and he moved to suppress the results of the blood alcohol content test, being that the officer did not have a warrant for the blood draw. However, Wisconsin has an implied consent law, and if you don't know what that means, this means that as long as the officer reasonably believes the driver is under the influence of drugs or alcohol, a blood alcohol content test can be administered without the consent of the driver. So the case went to the Supreme Court, where they sided with the state of Wisconsin in that the implied consent law does not violate the driver's Fourth Amendment rights. So that is the second one I'm going to talk to y'all about. Moving on to the third one. The third one is United States of America versus the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, which is also known as SEPTA. SEPTA has a transit police department that covers 5 counties in 3 states. They have 3 employees that we're going to talk about in this case: John Randolph, Nathan Dieter, and Anthony Ledare. They all filed charges of discrimination to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, also known as EEOC. So all 3, Randolph, Dieter, and Ledare, were subordinates of Brian McCauley. Brian McCauley subjected the 3 men to a very hostile working environment due to their race and religion. After completing an investigation, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission confirmed that there was reasonable cause to believe that all 3 men were subjects of unlawful harassment in the workplace based on their race and religion. It doesn't let y'all know that Randolph is an African-American male who follows the Muslim religion, and Ledare and Dieter are both Caucasian males who do not follow the Muslim religion. It was not reported what religion they follow, it's just not Muslim. So all 3 men joined SEPTA as regular patrol officers, and they were all later promoted to detectives where they became subordinates of Macaulay. So as a supervisor, Macaulay controlled every aspect of Randolph, Dieter, and Ledaire's working environment. That even included when they were allowed to take lunch breaks. So Macaulay did subject them to physical threats and assaults, and there's so many to choose from, you guys, so many that were reported, and I'm just going to tell you all about two or three. So the first one happened in 2019, where Macaulay found an Instagram post that included the N-word on it. He printed it up, read the post to Randolph and Dieter, and he hung the post above his desk and stated to the two men that will now be the squad's mission statement. The months following that incident, Macaulay made several racial statements regarding African Americans, including Randolph personally. Regarding Randolph's religion, Macaulay made several discriminatory statements, and he even played ISIS beheading videos to Randolph. On other occasions, Macaulay would load his firearm, and he pointed at Randolph, Dieter, and Ledaire. There were several other incidents where Macaulay threatened and assaulted all three men. So that sums up the third one. Thank you to everybody who came to this meeting. If you forgot any of the cases that I just named to you, I'd be more than happy to give you a list of them. Does anybody have any questions? If not, y'all are free to go. Thank you.